जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद। जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय शिल प्रभुपाद। जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद श्रील प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद। जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद श्रील प्रभुपाद। निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल। इसलिए प्रभुपाद की श्री गुरु चरण पद्म केवल भक्ति सद्मा। श्री गुरु चरण पद्म केवल भक्ति सद्मा। सावधान माते बंदमो सावधान माते। प्राप्ति है जहाँ होते कृष्ण प्राप्ति है जहाँ होते। गुरु मुख पद्मा वाक्य चित्ते ते करियायक। गुरु मुख पद्मा वाक्य चित्ते ते करियायक। मने आशा आर न करिह मने आशा। श्री गुरु चरण गति श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति जे प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा चक्षुदान दिल जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिल जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशिता दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशिता प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते देखा जहार चरिता देखा जहार चरिता श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम नर बंधु लोकेर जीवन शिल प्रभु पार्वती पावन लिहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया करो दया देखो मोरे पद छाया ले हाँ प्रभु करो दया देखो मोरे पद छाया ये बेजा सुचुक त्रिभुवन शिल प्रभु पार्वती पावन प्रभुपाद लोकेर जीवन लेहा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया प्रभु लेहा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया लेहा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया बेजा सोचुक त्रिभुवन बेजा सोचुक त्रिभुवन जय प्रभु पादा जय प्रभु पादा शिल प्रभु पादा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद की नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्तारिणे नमस्ते हरि बोल। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hari Bol Hari Bol Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hare. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hare. Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga, Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga. Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga. Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hare. Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hare. Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hare. Jai Sacinandana Gaura Hare. Jai Sacinandana Gaura Hare. Jai Sacinandana Gaura Hare. Jai Sacinandana Gaura Hare. Nadiya Bihari Jaya Gaura Hare. Nadiya Bihari Jaya Gaura Hare. Sachi Matar Dana Dana Gaura Hare. Sachi Matar Dana Dana Gaura Hare. Amar Vishnu Priyar Prano Nath Gaura Hare. Amar Vishnu Priyar Prano Nath Gaura Hare. Gaura 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 Hare. Gaura 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 Hare. Gaura 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 Hare. Gaura 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 Hare. Sacinandana Gaura Hare. Sacinandana Gaura Hare. 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 Jai Sacinandana Gaura Hare. Sacinandana Gora Hare. Jai Sacinandana Gora Hare. Gaura 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 Hare. Gaura 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 Hare. Gaura Hare. Gaura Hare. Gaura Hare. Gaura Hare. Gaura Hare. Jai Sacinandana Gaura Hare. Jai Sacinandana. Jai Sacinandana Gaura Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai 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 Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Prabhupada. Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Gauranande.
Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrata Kacharya Sutara Satasi Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaja Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Maya Pudam Ki Jai. Vrindavan Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Yamuna Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaura Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Which one do you have?
Well, I have the connected to USB. I have an adapter, but I don't have the, and that Chaitanya had that yesterday. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming to glorify Srila Prabhupada and the Lord. We're going to start in a couple minutes because we've got to do some projector. Okay, hopefully this goes through. Oh, it doesn't need. Okay, sorry. Let me see if I put the. Normal. Slideshow. Okay, that's good. I wanted to begin by just thanking all of the organizers and all of the retreat speakers and all of the attendees for making this such an enriching devotional retreat. This entire week we've all benefited so much, and also was reflecting on how to take the jewels that we've gathered home with us and share them with others in our devotional communities, but also in our daily lives, whether it's our work or our school or neighbors like that. So that's the theme of this class today is, or I guess I would say sharing, because we're going to do some interaction where you're all part of it, with your permission. I'd like to include all of you as well. And we've had such a nice week of hearing Bhaktivinoda Thakur bhajans. So David Arma has kindly agreed to sing Shuddhacharana Bhakti-Renu, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's vision of how our daily devotional activities inspire deep, loving devotion for the Lord and His devotees. And imagine experiencing our homes turn into Goloka Vrindavan and just having unlimited enthusiasm for these devotional practices, worshipping Tulsi Devi and chanting the holy name and honoring the Lord's prasadam and worshipping our deities in our home and at our temples. So I'll go ahead and read the translations before we sing. So the first verse, the dust of the lotus feet of pure devotees, enthusiastic devotional service, and service to the pure devotees of the highest order are the roots of the creeper of devotion. The holy days like Ekadasi and Janmastami are the mother of devotion for those devotees who respect them. Let the holy places of Krishna's pastimes be my places of worship, and bless me. May I always visit all the holy places associated with the Leela of Lord Chaitanya and his devotees. When I hear the sound of the mridanga in my heart, I always desire to join in kirtan. And when I hear the bona fide songs describing Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, my heart dances in ecstasy. Whenever I see the transcendental Sri Vigrahas of Radha and Krishna, I am in bliss, for by taking their lordship's prasad, we can conquer over the material elements. One day, while performing devotional practices, I saw my house transformed into Goloka Vrindavan. When I take the Charanamrita of the deity, I see the holy Ganges water that comes from the feet of Lord Vishnu, and my bliss knows no bounds. By seeing the Tulsi tree my heart feels joy, and Lord Madhava, Krishna, is also satisfied. When I eat the prasad favored by Lord Chaitanya, it is a new life's experience. Bhaktivinoda concludes by saying, whosoever attains the stage of enthusiasm for these devotional practices will be supremely blissful wherever he may be. So this is the benediction we're going to pray to Bhaktivinoda Thakur for while singing this song. So please, David Army. And I was so appreciating during Srila Prabhupada's Guru Puja and Kirtan how we've got the Mayapur sweet Kirtan mood here. Thanks to you. Thank you for bringing it for all of us.
Suddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Yanu Kula Suddha Bhakata Charana Suddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Yanu Seva Parama Siddhi Premalati Karamula
Bhagata Seva Parama Siddhi Premalati
Bhagata Seva Parama Siddhi Premalati Karamula
Bhagata Seva Parama Siddhi Premalati Karamula
Suddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajanaya Madhavati thi bhakti janani jatane palana kori Madhavati thi bhakti janani jatane palana kori Krishna vasati Basati boli Paramayadare boli Krishna Basati
Basati boli Paramayadare boli
Suddha Bhakata चरण रेणु भजनय अनुकूल গৌরয়ামার যে সব স্থানে করলা ভ্রমণ রঙ্গে যে সব স্থানে করলা ভ্রমণ সে সব স্থান হেরিব আমি প্রণয় ভকত সঙ্গে সে সব স্থান হেরিব আমি প্রণয় ভকত সঙ্গে শুদ্ধ ভকত চরণ রেণু ভজনয় অনুকূল মৃদঙ্গবাদ শুনিতে মন অবসর সদা যাচ্ছে মৃদঙ্গবাদ আর মৃদঙ্গবাদ শুনিতে মন অবসর সদা যাচ্ছে গৌরবৃহীত কীর্তন শুনি আনন্দে হৃদয় নাচে গৌরবৃহীত গৌরবৃহীত কীর্তন শুনি আনন্দে হৃদয় নাচে শুদ্ধ ভকত চরণ রেণু ভজনয় অনুকূল যুগল মূর্তি দেখিয়া মোর আনন্দে হৃদয় নাচে যুগল মূর্তি যুগল মূর্তি দেখিয়া মোর পরম प्रपंच प्रसाद सेवा करिते होय सकल प्रपंच प्रसाद सेवा करिते होय सकल प्रपंच भजन देखी गृह ते गोलक भजन दिन गृह भजन देखी गृह ते गोलक चरण सिधु देखिया गंगा सुख न सीमा पाया चरण सिधु चरण सिधु देखिया गंगा सुख न सीमा पाया चरण सिधु देखिया गंगा सुख शुद्ध भक्त चरण रेणु भजन सार्थक चरण रेणु भजन कृष्ण भजन अनुकूल जहा पाय भक्ति विनोद कृष्ण भजन भक्ति विनोद कृष्ण भजन अनुकूल जहा पाय भक्ति विनोद one more time, together please. Suddha Bhakata Charana Reno Bhajanayano Kula. Please, one more last, please. Suddha Bhakata Charana Reno Bhajanayano Kula. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Gati Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanande.
Haribo. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. So this actually sums up the whole class. So, but I will speak a little more. So my reflection, meditation has been on the Lord in the heart, the Lord of our hearts, and how what an amazing transition. Excuse me, sorry about that. The amazing transition we all have the opportunity for. Lord Paramatma is already there in our hearts and in the hearts of every living entity and in every atom throughout the entire creation. But we have the opportunity to invite Lord Shamasundar, Lord Govinda, into our hearts to prepare. Thank you. I actually have one, but I'll take another one. Thank you. To invite the Lord into our hearts and to... Actually, it's described that when the Lord takes residence in the heart of his pure devotee, his entire Dham comes there. All of the devotees. The Lord and all of his devotees, in the holy place of pilgrimage, and that such pure devotees become a place of pilgrimage and are able to influence everywhere they go. So this is a very tall order, but it's what's been given to us by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, for us to become such sincere followers that we can transition our hearts and become pure devotees and influence everyone in our sphere and everyone in the world. And what a Hare Krishna movement we would have. Excuse me. So let's all first chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we can chant the verse together, especially with my voice leaving me. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 2, verse 17. Sabibrat par shamdama prajaman sadoti durdarsho bhutanam samprabhu. Actually, I'm going to ask my dear husband to come and take the other mic since my voice is gone and help. Yours is gone too? Okay. David Dharma, yours is still going. Would you please read the translation? Actually, let's go ahead and read the verse one more time since I failed, and then read the translation for us. Oops. He's saying no. I think his voice is as bad as mine.
It's worse.
Okay.
Why don't we just read the translation?
Okay.
While carrying the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within the core of his heart, Vasudeva bore the Lord's transcendently illuminating effulgence, and thus he became as bright as the sun. He was therefore very difficult to see or approach through sensory perception. Indeed, he was unapproachable and unperceivable, even for such formidable men as Kamsa, and not only for Kamsa, but for all living entities. Report. The word Dham is significant. Dham refers to the place where the Supreme Personality of Godhead resides. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1, it is said, Dhamna Svayam Sada Nirastakukam Satyam Param Dhimahi. In the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no influence of material energy. Dhamna Svayam Sada Nirastakukam. Any place where the Supreme Personality of Godhead is present by his name, form, qualities, or paraphernalia immediately becomes a Dham. For example, we speak of Vrindavan Dham, Dwarka Dham, and Mathura Dham, because in these places the name, fame, qualities, and paraphernalia of the Supreme Godhead are always present. Similarly, if one is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to do something, the core of his heart becomes a Dham. And thus he becomes so extraordinarily powerful that not only his enemies, but also people in general, are astonished to observe his activities. Because he is unstoppable, unapproachable, his enemies are simply struck with wonder, as explained here by the words Durasado Tidur Dayasha. The word Purusham Dham have been explained by various acharyas. Sri Viragava Acharya says that these words refer to the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vijayadwaj says that they signify Vishnu Tejas, the potency of the Lord. And Sukadev says Bhagavat Swarup, the form of the Lord. The Vishnu Toshani says that these words indicate the influence of the Supreme Lord's effulgence. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that they signify the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay, thank you. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Prajadane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatarane. So I'd like all of you to take a minute to reflect on some of the jewels that you've collected this week in the association of all these wonderful devotees and hearing so many beautiful classes and associating with many friends from far and wide. And just, think of 2 or 3 things that are really special that have happened for you. And it might not be, it might be something that happened very internally, and just reflect on that. And then I'm going to ask everyone to do a partner share just with one other person, and for you to share what it is that is the the jewels that you're taking home with you. So. Yeah. And you can start whenever you're ready. with your find a partner and discuss. We'll spend a few minutes on this. One more minute, please. Giving a voice to him. Okay, Hari Bol. Now we're going to get to take. I should have a bell, right? Or a gong. Thank you all so much. You're giving a wonderful class. I'm so appreciative. Who would like to share with the whole group? There'll be a microphone that goes around. Who's got the mic? Oh, can you please? Oh.
So I actually had some things. One was finding a new passion through Krishna Ksetra Maharaj, like producing dramas or getting engaged in that kind of topic.
Haribol!
Then also the Vaishnava Sangha with you and Govinda Dasi was really inspiring to hear all these stories with Prabhupada and his daughters, which was like, especially for me now losing my guru some months ago, was quite impressive. And the late night kirtan with friends, I'm sorry for that, but they were amazing.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to share?
Thank you, sorry. Being new in this community or in this Krishna consciousness, I was reflecting how kind you were all and soft and gentle. That was very, very welcoming. I feel that's very important for people who are from outside. Like me, it's a very important point to come close, to come to us, to the other one outside there, with this gentle quality many of the great Swami who were here shared in their softness and dedication. And this is like, for me, it likes rich in the heart, and I feel that's the strongest way to touch people outside in this very agitated world at the moment. Preaching is not always, I was preached at, and it was really not, it was a bit intense, it was a bit too much. But the soft, gentle ways, at least for me, and I think for many people, it's very, very great. And I was touched by the way you all dance for joy. And God, it's very like a shower of light and love. So thank you. I have much more to say about many other people. And one thing I want to say also, I am so, so grateful that women in this movement are talking and speaking and writing. I find this is a very, 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 I stress it, very strong point, that women and the elder and wise woman, and even the young one who have so much Shakti, they can share and speak. I think it's very important to balance this aspect for this time to come in the world. It's really important women are put in the front. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I just met Brigitte, but she already knows my heart, because I also wanted to acknowledge and appreciate what a tremendous honor and blessing and rare opportunity it is to hear from Srila Prabhupada's daughters. And I'm extremely grateful to Kosarupa Prabhu and to Govindadasi Prabhu, who's... It's not easy for her to travel, and still she's determined to travel the world and share her story of her time with Srila Prabhupada. And Kosarupa Prabhu was so generous in the Vaishnava Sangha yesterday. Her intent was to give a platform for Govindadasi to really share her time, because we don't know how much longer she's with us. So I really implore you not to take this for granted, this opportunity, and please pester Kosarupa Prabhu and Govindadasi. Pester them. We're so grateful to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'd like to hear from you more often, please.
Hare Krishna. I think that there are, as everyone said, there's so many things. It's hard to just choose like one. We were talking about the fantastic devotee association. It has been superb. The organisation this week has been awesome. The way that we've flowed from sort of kirtan to philosophy to kirtan to more philosophy, and then kind of with each of the Maharajas bringing something very unique to the table, which has been very special. But I think the one thing I would choose is the new appreciation for bhajans and the beautiful Bengali bhajans that actually, you know, many of us, the speakers have brought. So I think really that's been kind of a big highlight for me.
Thank you. Thank you. Just one or two more, and then we'll resume. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. I was contemplating actually for the past few days what would I carry home from the Bhakti retreat, because every year I carry home something. And last year it was the power of transformations, and this year, as I stand here today, I think two things that really I carry in my heart is, one is how grateful I am and I can be for each of you who are here, who significantly contribute to my experience of the Bhakti retreat, which is so nourishing. And yeah, for what I get to hear and just how far I have come, and also be grateful that I have a path before me where I can go forward. So gratitude is one. And secondly, something which also will be very nourishing for me is hope against hope. That's something I heard very often through different speakers, and how in this day and age, despite all the circumstances, there is no reason to hope, but still I have hope that there is so much love and Krishna's love that I can at some point reciprocate and develop in the heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
For me, it was very precious to come here the first time. The first day we went outside, and the first thing there was these mountains. There was beautiful place, and we saw the cows with the calves. So I was thinking immediately, it looks very spiritual, almost like Vrindavan. And after that, I meet many devotees that I don't see for a long time, so I was so happy to meet them. After the pandemic, 3 years we were not associated, so now this is so more emotional to see the devotees, and after the years, and we feel after the years that we have like a family in our Krishna's consciousness. So the other thing, the impression to me that it was the devotees, they bring all the deities with them, and such a big, beautiful altar, so many deities. It was very inspiring to me to worship the deities. And yeah, everything was so nice and a very nice atmosphere, and we take so much from this festival for all the years. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else from the men? One last. Krishna Ksetra Swami, would you share something with us?
This is my first time to this retreat, and it's been a treat. Hare Krishna.
Badahari, would you like to share something?
I'm usually living in a temple, in a community, and I just noticed coming here from the temple, just the condensed association with so many beautiful devotees really brought actually a very intense journey inside of myself, and I noticed how powerful this gathering of many devotees together is impactful on our transformation. And I think what I take most with me is being comfortable in the uncomfortable. I think that's something that I really want to work with. And also the application of all those Vaishnava qualities. Yesterday we had in the song, this is actually a sadhana, or Badahari was saying sadhana start at 9 o'clock. After our spiritual practice, the application of those qualities in our life, and I feel very inspired to work deeper on this transformation of our character and behavior.
Wonderful, thank you. So on that subject, that was one of the inspirations that I was thinking of with this class, is how we had a Sankirtan meditation when we were on book distribution for many, many years. I did book distribution. I think there's quite a lot of old-time book distributors in the room. Yes, yes. So it was to see the Lord in the heart of each and every person we approached. That they're not their body, their spirit, soul. Krishna is sitting in their heart waiting for the devotee to approach them and to offer them this gift of transcendental knowledge. And I was thinking about that, thinking, wow, it's been a long time since I've actively, intentionally, every person I see while moving in this world had that meditation that, wow, Krishna's in her heart, his heart, the animal's heart. And I remember how helpful that was in my daily sadhana of book distribution, talking about the application that when you go out. And then with the challenges in the world and the challenges in our movement, and I'm in a counselor role a lot, so I'm a point person for many people in distress, many devotees, so I hear a lot. I know too much for my own liking, and I sometimes get really discouraged, like, we joined the Prabhupada to change the world. And I haven't even changed myself, and I certainly haven't changed our society. I thought I could do it. And I've been, had bouts of, discouragement and identity crisis and crisis in faith, in and out over the last almost 50 years. And I'm like, where do we go from here? And the discussion of, well, how instead of focusing on everything that's wrong or that needs transformation, let's go to that other place of how do we want it to be. We have all these incredible descriptions of what the spiritual world is like, and we have the process to imbibe the Dham within our hearts and within our communities. So how important it is that we act with one another, because this is this is how I can make a difference, is in my own mind, my own heart, my own life, and the people I come in contact with. So it's not waiting for some other, for somebody or some organization or some leaders to change. The change comes from within first, and then the possibility, it seems daunting, but it's here in our scriptures that each and every one of us can become empowered by our spiritual master and by the Supreme Lord to be that change maker, to be that touchstone, to influence others to come to Krishna's lotus feet. And we were talking a lot this week about the different devotees in the Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita who performed their penances or got their causeless mercy, or that the Lord came personally before them or appeared in their heart. Dhruva Maharaj is one of my personal heroes. And I remember, I'll tell you a little secret. When I joined Prabhupada's movement, I met the devotees when I was 11, but I joined the ashram when I was 16. And I had this conviction that I would be a pure devotee max 5 years. Did anybody else have that kind of delusion? You did. Oh, anyone else? Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you. Oh, wow, this is 10 years? Okay. Anyone else? Okay, a lot of us. 18 years. Yeah, we were revolutionaries. We joined Prabhupada. We weren't it was serious. I don't think fanatical even touches what we were like. Anyways, at least speaking for myself. Okay, I won't blame everyone else. But yeah, so, and it's, it's been hard to see that, oh, gee, all these years later, chanting 16 rounds or more every day, following the process, and it's hard to feel like I'm much further along. Some of my enthusiasm has waned. A lot of my enthusiasm has waned. A lot of my idealism has been siphoned out. So I'm dependent on all of you, and so grateful for all the classes we've had this week, because it's been an internal revival. Okay, I don't have to wait for somebody else to get it together or the leadership to get it together. It's like we are the leaders. Srila Prabhupada asked each and every one of us to be a leader, and we can't be a leader unless, one, we're a good follower, and two, we are willing to let the Lord transform our heart. And we can't fool Krishna. We can fool everyone else, and we can even sometimes fool ourselves, but we can't fool Krishna. And he's there in our heart. He knows every thought, every desire, every action, every word we speak, every unkind thing we say or do. And if we have this awareness that, for example, these days with the cameras and the social media and the online streaming and the everything, the Instagrams and the everything else, everyone is on display. Anything you say can and will be used against you now and in the future forevermore. So politicians, celebrities, and you and I have all learned to be more careful what we say, and sometimes the hot mics catch something that we didn't think we were going to ever have to have come back at us. So contrast that with Krishna in our heart. The hot mic is always on, and it's not just what we say, it's what we feel, it's what we think, it's how we react. It's our selfishness and our self-absorption and all of these things, the qualities that we recognize, but we tend to, at least I tend to, like, placate, like, yeah, it's okay, but I'm doing pretty good. It's like, well, it's time to get to another level than doing pretty good. And I honestly, earnestly believe that this will be the transformation that we can reclaim, that we are changing the world. And there's a lot of us that are much older than some of you here, and we're feeling it. I mean, every week I get news of 1 or 2 or 3 God brothers and God sisters who've left this world or are preparing to. And also, as we know, it's not just dependent on old age. Old age can be at any time because there's also accidents and disease and other things that take out young people too. And of course, we never die, but there is a sobriety that comes with the awareness and knowing how many, other people in your vintage are leaving their bodies. And, back to, thinking pure devotional service, no problem, 5 years. I also, as a young person, didn't imagine getting old. Couldn't really relate to old age. And I'll tell you, take advantage of your youth to give your body, mind, and soul, give your heart to Krishna now. It will be much easier if you reach pure devotional service before old age. So, how much time do we have? Okay. So there's a couple more verses I wanted to share with you. Of course, this is one of my most favorite verses, Lord Brahma's enlightenment, his realization, and let's all chant it together. Premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayesh vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintya guna swarupam Govinda Mari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who is always seen by the devotee whose eyes are anointed with the pulp of love. He is seen in his eternal form of Shama Sundar, situated within the heart of the devotee. This Shama Sundar form of the Lord within the heart of a devotee is not imaginary. When a devotee becomes mature in his prosecution of devotional service, he sees face to face the same Shama Sundar he has thought of during the entire course of his devotional service. Since the Supreme Lord is absolute, the form within the heart of a devotee, the form in the temple, and the original form in Vaikuntha, Vrindavan Dham, are all the same. They are all non-different from one another. Only those who have smeared their eyes with the ointment of love of Godhead can see everywhere the Supreme Lord face to face. It is not possible by imagination or so-called meditation. So we have to have the mercy of the Lord in order to see him in our heart and to always feel his love and reciprocation. This isn't something we can just endeavor for. This is another beautiful meditation by Bilva Mangala Thakur that he writes in his book, Krishna Karnamrita. I'm eagerly waiting to see that boy of Vrindavan whose bodily beauty is captivating the whole universe, whose eyes are always bounded by black eyebrows and expanded like lotus petals, who is always eagerly glancing over his devotees and therefore moving slightly here and there. His eyes are always moist and his lips are colored like copper, and through those lips there comes a sound vibration which drives one madder than a mad elephant. I want so much to see him at Vrindavan. So, in conclusion, I'm going to share this verse, and then we'll have a few minutes for discussion. This is the verse spoken by Maharaj Yudhisthira to Vidura in the Bhagavatam, first canto. Saints of your caliber are themselves places of pilgrimage. Because of their purity, they are constant companions of the Lord, and therefore they can purify even the places of pilgrimage. Maharaj Yudhisthira was receiving his saintly uncle Vidura, who had been visiting sacred places of pilgrimage. Maharaj Yudhisthira told Vidura that pure devotees like him are personified holy places because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always with them in their hearts. By their association, sinful persons are freed from sinful reactions, and therefore wherever a pure devotee goes is a sacred place of pilgrimage. The importance of holy places is due to the presence there of such pure devotees. So by coming to this, well, it's an ideal place, but it's attainable. Srila Prabhupada assured us it's attainable for each and every one of us. And all of these beautiful songs we've been singing of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he also assures us that by chanting the holy name with faith and love, attention, that we can invite the Lord into our heart and give him residence and let him take over our lives, our mind, our heart. And then we too can become an ideal devotee who's able to bring Krishna and the Dham to everywhere we go. This is my hope and prayer for myself on my much longer than 5-year journey, and my hope and prayer for all of you, that we take this, all of the gems, all of the gifts that we've been given and continue to be given, and not become complacent, not become discouraged, not go away, but be the change makers in our own hearts and in the hearts of others. So I'll stop there and open it up for discussion. Oh, okay. Badahari has something he wants to add, please. He's even got his own mic.
No, I was just to confirm everything that you've said. Srila Prabhupada was giving a class on this verse, this particular verse, in Switzerland.
Woohoo! Haribo.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada was giving a class on this particular verse in Switzerland, I think Geneva maybe. So it was pretty early on, 74, 73 perhaps. So he was commenting on this, that if we remember the Lord, if we carry the Lord in our heart, then wherever we go, we will purify that place. This was the message. And one might say, well, that's true for Vidura. What about us? But it was very clear in the class that he was speaking to his, young disciples who had been devotees for, 2-3 years or something like that at this time. He was just encouraging them, if you just remember the Lord, if you just think of him, then wherever you go, you will purify that place. So he clearly made this an instruction for us. It's applicable in our lives.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Hare Krishna. I was wondering your perspective on your own spiritual journey, which you generously shared with us, and being so transparent yourself and making yourself vulnerable, which is in itself a great example. Thinking of the intervention of Krishna's mercy through the devotees in our lives, that as a soul wandering birth after birth based on our karma, what it really means to get touched by the mercy and then being diverted towards Krishna's journey instead of continuing in this cycle and staying on this path. And if you're reflecting, if we all of us reflecting back, what would have happened if you would have, just got a book and it would have landed on your shelf and you would have just continued your life without the devotee association, without the service you were doing and your engagement in the mission. And seeing this from that perspective, also you were sharing how Krishna sees us all the time, what it means for him to see a soul moving towards him after such a long time wandering in the universes.
Wow. Well, that was a verse and purport in itself. I don't know how I would respond to that. Thank you for sharing that. It's a wonderful reflection. I see with many of the children that are born in this movement, including my own, they often have memories, at least impressions of previous lives, and therefore they have a great eagerness to be serious devotees in this life. And I think many of us also had that we were searching from oftentimes a very young age, or at whatever point we became obsessed with needing to find a spiritual path, needing to find our teacher that we knew was somewhere and we had to find them. It's hard to look back and say how, what would your life be if Prabhupada hadn't touched it, if your spiritual master hadn't touched it, if Krishna hadn't intercepted with the mercy of the devotees, with the book, the airport, or the Harinam party downtown Zurich. But there's actually a really nice quote, and I don't know who said it, but I'm doing an art piece with it. You can't go back and change the past, but you can start today and change the ending. You can't go back and change the past, but you can start today and change the ending. So, as you pointed out, we've had a very long sojourn, millions upon millions of lives in all different species of life. And actually, the first time I came to the temple, I was living across the street from the temple for about 1.5 years before I braved going into the house with the Hare Krishna mantra sign on the outside. And my first kirtan, it was like I was home, and then I sat down to eat the prasadam, and I just ate 2 heaping plates of prasadam. And the devotee who sat next to me saw my enthusiasm. I had even sat during the class. And she told me something that has stayed with me my entire life since. She said, you've had every kind of sense enjoyment in every kind of body. And now you have the opportunity to become a pure devotee of Krishna. And she said, let's see, my memory is... Maya will do everything she can to keep you bound here. Now that she sees you're attracted to Krishna, she's going to offer you everything you ever wanted. Okay, I'm a 15-year-old girl. I had lots of desires. Anything you ever wanted, she's going to offer you to keep you in her clutches. She had been explaining to me about the illusory energy. And she said, but all of it pales in comparison. Now that you've had a taste for Krishna consciousness, nothing else will satisfy you. Everything else will be a disappointment. I was like, whoa. I mean, honestly, this was my first time to the temple. But I had met devotees. I'd had conversations from 1971 on. From the time I was 11 years old, I was arguing with devotees, reading all the other spiritual books of the day. So I walked out, when I left the temple, with an extra plate of prasadam for the next day. It was interesting how it was like that I had finally agreed with Krishna to go to the temple and to chant and to hear the class and to take prasadam and to talk to the devotees more as a seeker instead of as a arguer, that how Krishna just went inside and just started changing my consciousness. I came out, I had just bought a brand new pair of Birkenstocks that day, $60. They were gone. I was one of the last guests to leave, and I was like, oh, well, the devotees wouldn't have stolen them. It must have been one of the guests. And then Krishna said in my head, or at least I acknowledged, I said, oh, maybe Krishna doesn't want me to wear leather. And that was it. Never bought another pair of leather shoes. And then I was walking home, and one of the reasons I had hesitated to come to the temple was because all the rumors, true and false, that once you go and you eat their food, you keep chanting and the mantra never leaves your head. So I'm walking home, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. I'm like, okay, you can turn it off now. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. It wouldn't turn off. So there was this, a little panic, like, it won't turn off. And then I was like, and then again, the Krishna magic, it was like, it's okay, it's wonderful, keep chanting and floating home. So, and that's what happened. And then some of those other desires, material desires, one by one, disappointed, people and places and things were disappointments, and, Krishna took over. So I don't take any credit for that. I know that it was Srila Prabhupada's mercy and the mercy of Lord Krishna and Super Soul and the devotees that gave me that entrance into devotional service, because I really, really did not want to become a devotee, a Hare Krishna. I tried very hard to just, okay, I'll be a follower. This is my guru, Srila Prabhupada, and the teacher I've been looking for many years and probably many lifetimes. I had recognized him, and it was like, okay, but I'm not going to be one of those Hare Krishnas. They're just too weird. Did anyone else think that when you met the devotees? They're just a little too weird? Okay. But I had this quest, because I used to see the Harinam party from the time I was, 11, 12 years old, and I used to think, they're so happy, but they're so weird. But they're so happy, but they're way too weird for me. And I just couldn't make sense of it. So I had to, like a detective, I had to figure out how they could be so happy, what they had that the rest of us didn't have. So that was part of my, search. And then I genuinely was trying to figure out how to be, how to have Srila Prabhupada as my guru, but not be a Hare Krishna devotee. And at that time, there wasn't like congregations, okay? You were in the temple, in the ashram, 100%, 24/7, or you weren't. And there wasn't any option on that side except to visit the temple, take prasadam, hear classes, but there wasn't the bridge between. It's nothing like it is now, where the majority of the devotees actually go to school, finish their education, have a home life, have families. It wasn't like that back then. So the extremes. And then when I did move in the temple, I thought I was in control. I made a deal with Krishna. Any of you guys ever make deals with Krishna? How did they go? He wins, right? So I made a deal with Krishna that I would try it for 6 months, and then I would decide what I was going to do next. That's not what happened. But I don't think that answered your question, Purushottam Prabhu. But
way more than that.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
I remember in the ISKCON communications courses that I took when they first came out, when Anuttama Prabhu was doing them, and he asked in our group breakouts was, why did you join the Hare Krishna movement? And I would say the more important question, why did you stay? In the 1980s, there was one psychologist who did a whole sociological study on the Hare Krishna movement and found out, there were two different studies. One was that 85% of us came from dysfunctional families. What he failed to tell us was at that time in the US, 85% of everybody came from dysfunctional families. So we were right in there. And the other study was that at the 5-year point, people who had joined and had seriously practicing Krishna consciousness for, for however many months or years, at the 5-year point, we only had a 5% retention. Only 5% of the people who came, surrendered, and sincerely endeavored to be devotees in our ashrams, and this again was in the 1980s, stayed. Now, my mother was very active in Alcoholics Anonymous, and she was a drug and alcohol counselor, and that was the same statistic that Alcoholics Anonymous had of people who came and sincerely tried to give up their addiction to alcohol. Only a 5% recovery rate. People who stayed with the program and stayed sober over, many years. So I had reflected on that, okay, and we're being asked not just to give up alcohol, all intoxication, all abominable foods, all illicit sex and gambling. We're being asked to give up all of these and to chant minimum of 16 rounds a day and to follow our sadhana practices and to share Krishna consciousness with others. So 5% retention rate might not be that bad, but I don't know what it is now because that was all the way back in the 80s. I think now that there's so much congregation and like that, it'd be interesting for somebody to do another study. But it also spoke to me when I joined the ashram. Things were very militant, very impersonal. We weren't encouraged to make friends. We weren't encouraged to have loving relationships amongst the devotees. Everything was very harsh. And I'm very happy to see that we've become a hugging culture and that there's wonderful sanghas and that there's men's groups and ladies' groups and so much more respect for one another, so much more love and concern for the children, and that needs to continue to increase so that we can actually say our movement has 0 child abuse, 0 spousal abuse, 0 misogyny, sexism, racism. I mean, we're the movement that's teaching the world we're not our bodies. Why do we have a problem with this? I don't get it. I really don't get it. And so far nobody has been able to tell me why we should have a problem with it. So let's all do our best. Boy, I think I'm on a soapbox now. Anyways, let's do our best to just eradicate all of the negative things from our own hearts and then in our own association, and be careful how we speak, be careful how we act. And when Krishna manifests in the heart, there's, Krishna is the God of love, and we want to be his loving servants. So, and sorry, someone else can take over now. Anyone else have anything else to add?
Thank you for still being here.
It was a very good retreat. And Prabhu want to say very good about this retreat. In the moment of death, when we leave our body, With us lives only our philosophy
и наши друзья.
and our friends.
Когда мы здесь вместе общаемся,
When we discuss all together here,
мы здесь дружим,
we make friends here.
даем друг друга,
We acknowledge one another.
друг другу служим.
We serve to one another.
И когда мы будем тело оставлять,
And when we leave our bodies,
у нас будет много друзей.
we will have many friends.
Они будут нас знать.
They will know us.
И очень важно, чтобы мы их знали тоже.
And it is very important that we know them also.
Иначе, когда они будут нам помогать,
When they will help us,
мы должны принять их авторитет.
we should accept their authority.
И надо его принять сейчас.
And we have to accept it now.
Вы можете друг другу дарить подарки.
We can exchange presents to each other.
Нету подарков, можете просто улыбнуться.
If you do not have presents, we can exchange smiles
Или приятно посмотреть в их сторону.
or pleasant look in face of our friends.
И в момент оставления тела,
And in the moment of death,
когда нам будет очень больно,
when we suffer pain,
боль невыносимая,
it's an unbearable pain.
то мы сможем, когда нам будет давать наставления,
Then we can, when we have orders,
мы сможем этого человека послушать,
we can listen to this person,
как мне, уже ушедшему из тела, поступать дальше.
how we who have already left the body to make further, to do further.
Высший друг — это Гурудев.
The utmost friend is Gurudev,
И очень важно, чтобы он вас знал лично.
and it is important that he knows you personally.
Это все зависит от вас.
It depends on us.
Харе Кришна.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So thank you all for being such an attentive audience. Very much appreciate your love and support. And have a wonderful rest of the retreat. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for your wonderful. Jai. Thank you for bringing us in some reflective thoughts after this beautiful retreat. I have a couple of announcements that are actually quite important, so I'm very grateful if everyone can stay here. Still? Okay. Okay, first of all, I just would like to remind you about one saying of Chanakya Pandit. Yeah, I hope you don't mind. I say something a little philosophical. He said there are actually three important things we have to be careful of. One is the fire, one is disease, and the other one is debt. So in case you did not pay what you took in the temple shop, please do it today, because the temple shop will close this evening. And also maybe some of you did not actually pay their fee for the retreat. If that happened, please approach the organizer this morning so that we can close everything properly for the retreat. Keshava Maharaj was asking us to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, and we are in Switzerland, and in Switzerland one important value is punctuality. And that might be uncomfortable for some of us as Hare Krishnas. So 2 points on punctuality that we might need to make a little work on. One is regarding our takujis, or our deities, because tomorrow morning there will be like just a short arati, Mangalarati, and after that they will have to pack up the whole altar. So if you are not sure that you will make it for Mangalarati, please bring your takoji in your room for the night, so that tomorrow morning you have the time to put them together. And they can stay for Mangalarati, but right after Mangalarati they will need to be moved toward your own place. So this is one thing. Another thing is actually, tomorrow morning also connected to punctuality. I mean, all the accommodation needs to be given back. So the breakfast will be actually early. Breakfast will be at 7:30. And right after Mangalarati, you have time actually for a little japa and preparing to pack everything. And it will be nice if at 9 o'clock all your luggage can be brought out of the rooms, and that up to 10 o'clock actually everything is clean. We have the organization, we have to actually leave the whole place as clean as what we found it when we came. So we go to the last point for today, which is a point of gratitude. We heard gratitude is the mother of all other qualities, and I mean, if you observe a little bit how amazing this retreat was organized, and I mean, there are few devotees who really did a lot of service, and I thought it's actually good that we express our gratitude. It's not just a feeling inside, but we express it with actually helping them to keep at least the place where we were, to keep them actually as clean as possible. So few points on that. One is vacuum clean everywhere in the room. Please remember that under the bed is also part of the room. Take everything out that you brought in the room, and do not take anything out of the room that you did not bring into the room. And please try to keep it as clean as possible, especially in the bathroom, mirrors, and anything. Try to do that as good as you can. It will help actually the organization a lot. Otherwise, they have to go behind and do all of that. Okay, the last thing, this is actually will help us very much in mindfulness. This is connected to bed sheets, especially for those who live in this house. You will have to deliver the bed, the cover, how you call that, the pillow and duvet cover will be at the reception here at the entrance, but the mattress cover will be down at the end of the staircase where we take the prasadam. So that's really good for mindfulness. In the other building, it's all easy. You can put everything down at the end of the stairs. Okay, I think I taught everything. So again, this is like just to show our gratitude for all those who organized the festival, so that we make effort on that. I come to you at the end. Wow. That gets serious here. Yeah? Okay. So pillow and duvet cover will be here. That's only for this building. Those who are in the other building, they have passed their test of mindfulness already. It's only for those who are here. So pillow and duvet cover at the reception, mattress cover, the cloth over the mattress down the stairs. If you don't do it all right, it's okay. It's just like as a small training.
Are you saying that it's Krishna consciousness, the people here who need to clean the whole building, the staff who owns this place don't clean, we are responsible to clean it all before we go?
Yes. Most probably they will do a last final things, but they expect from us to do like the 80% of the things.
We want to leave a good impression.
Yes. Okay, so I think that's everything. Just shortly, we had some discussion about Varnashram Dharma during the question and answer sessions, and Krishna Ksetra Swami was mentioning that Urmila Mataji is soon coming with a very beautiful book on career Dharma. And I also wanted to announce that His Holiness Bhakti Raghava Maharaj will also come, and he's also promoting a lot about Varnashram Dharma. All of you who are from Switzerland, you must have received email of when he is where and like this. In case you are not, and you did not get those emails, and you are still here around and you want to participate, here is a little flyer that I will let on the table just outside of this room. If you want, you can have a look. Also, there might be a gift for some of you. You might go home with Tulasi Devi. We have here 3 Tulsis that are ready to accompany one of you. I don't know, there might not be enough Tulsis, but if you are eager, I see Pujarini Mataji is already, her heart is already beating for Tulsi Seva. Please approach Govinda Prabhu. Govinda Prabhu, if you can just show who you are, and he will be very happy to give them to you. Okay. Next year, if you have liked this experience, you like to come again, next year retreat will be at the last week of July, like all the retreats. And the last final word.
Please, when you take your deities, make sure if they have all jewelries, all chapels, everything that belongs to you, that you take it, because here is already one kurta. I don't know whose kurta it is, so it's here waiting for you.
So today is the last day. We will have also a beautiful drama at the evening, and the timings are also a little bit changed. His Holiness Sacinandana Swami will speak only for half an hour, from 7 to 7:30 this evening. Then there will be the drama at 7:30. Oh, yeah, all here, huh? All here. And then after that there will be a little wrapping from His Holiness Sacinandana Swami and Krishna Ksetra Swami. So it's our last day. We can give all we have, and yeah, wish you all the best. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Could you please announce the Vaishnava Sangha, which room it's in? Today.
Yeah, I'm not aware of it, but I guess it's in the same room at the same time. Like, okay.
It's in the room over there.
Just at the entrance of the building on the right side. Which time? 2:30 to 4:30. Are the Prabhus also allowed to come? Okay.
Hare Krishna, as you saw, we did a big setup for that we have everything nicely documented online. So we have put for you a YouTube playlist altogether. If you scan this code, you will get to the playlist where you will find the whole Bhakti retreat recorded. You will find this poster outside also on the board. So just scan it and then share and like and subscribe.